looking more like the Goliath than a David, but in this story, the Goliath tends to win.
Yeah, Heroic really just seems like, even at their worst, they're still one of the strongest teams at this event, for sure. And Astralis, I mean, that's showing against Mouse Sports the other day was a little alarming, considering really was a one-sided affair, start to finish. That said, early outside play from Heroic. We got 4 players down secret.
Indeed we do. And here's that late lurk from Stown, keeping Lobby honest in the meantime. Before he pushes. There's the Super Mario Brothers from Cadia, not normally seen in the double doors, but impressive jumping. So Wildstorm has a lot to do here in this 1 versus 4. Actually, we'll see if he can do this. He has a lot of time on the clock here, and he still has a 1 versus 1. Zipex falling back with the Julies. See how Zipex isn't taking the fight. He doesn't need to fight to the death there, and if he can avoid it, then he can abuse the numbers with his teammates. In a 4 versus 1, there's no need for him to offer a 1 versus 1, and you can see the rest of Astralis now combining together to fight 3 versus 1.
Yeah, there's a firing squad on that staircase.
This is something that I would love people, especially in America, to learn. Fight together. Abuse the numbers.
Are you, like, salty about your Face-It experience here in America? Is that what this is?
No. I've got all that elo back. I won 6 games in a Rolex. We had a disastrous run. I was very tired, though. But also, I think people just playing above my level in terms of aiming. But
we had a winning streak going. What do you mean? We lost our last game. That's.
Well, I got 6. I won 6 games in a row. I had to claw it back.
Okay.
With the basement dwellers. But yeah, just not giving, because I feel like in North America, right, people like to oh, I see a fight, let me take that fight, without thinking about the purpose of that fight. So that was a great example, at least for like the lower levels, of how you are efficient and don't give chances to your opponent to clutch the round for free.
Wise words.
Especially post-plant, people like to peek and like, look, where is this guy? It's like, let's just chill out here. And make it hard for him to win the round. Not easy. See the force buy from Heroic. Cadian with the scout on Nuke. I'd be very impressed if you get work done with that. Tesses and Refresh, though, with their Desert Eagles will certainly get work done. And it begins. The strength of Heroic starting to show. Dupree trying to fall back. I think he tried to hit the ladder there and completely whiffed. And held position instead. Well, the bomb is heading towards a plant on the B bomb site. Successful. There's Bubsky's just a little too high there. Don't forget that plant always crouches now.
Even with the equipment advantage, this is going to be such a little bit of a risky retake here for Astralis.
Yeah, are they throwing the good money after the bad? And at what point do they call it? Because now they've lost another player. Surely that is it. Bubsky, it's going to try and make people die, I think. Again, Smoke invite to push from Tesses. But we can see there is some containment here. Dupree just holding on now, trying to thin the numbers. The more kills he gets, the less weapons are taken away. Of course, he gets 1 deked as well. This Heroic team is
so good.
It's very beastly.
Just goes from bad to worse. I think maybe we could escape with 2 or 3 weapons for Astralis. It's not to be. Bubsky nearly escaping with that ump. That's not good. Hate to see that. But on the other side of that, you know, you could have potentially taken 2 or 3 Heroic players down at lower with you. Didn't end up panning out. 1 each, and just a slow contact round from Heroic towards ramp yields big results.
Refresh, very important player for Heroic. All the pieces, they really have a completed puzzle here in Heroic. And again, you can just the way they play Counter-Strike from player to player, the way they push in. I suppose there's like an area you take for granted, like, you know, if there's a scenario where it doesn't make sense to do X, so you expect Y or Z, but they will do X. And when you're in that place, I think Mouse Sports are there as well at the moment. When you're in that area where you can take liberties, it really gives you such an extra gear versus your opponents.
Yeah, it feels like the execution will always be there when Heroic needs it to be, so play calls just always seem to be right. Instead, early push towards Hell, wrapped around Acadian, finding the head onto Dupree. Yeah, and I think, you know, for this Heroic squad, they've got so much depth. I've spent a lot of time in the analyst desk over the past few days, weeks rather, I guess, James, and talk a lot about some of the other players on Heroic, but Refresh is a guy who gets given a lot of responsibility on their, especially on their T sides.
Yeah.
A lot of times either solely sending the misdirect with himself or leading an entry somewhere. Doesn't always pop off statistically, but...
Did they throw that bomb on the floor on purpose to
Bait the
give a
sound
sound
out.
cue
Oh,
towards
yeah.
B on the ramp? I'm thinking maybe they did.
Yeah,
So they've got position towards heaven.
Little subtle things like that are so cool.
Yeah. So for those of you at home, if you drop a rifle on the floor or a pistol, it makes the same sound as the bomb dropping on the floor as well. So sometimes you might see like a lurker on Banana of Inferno drop a weapon on the floor to suggest it's the bomb when the real push is heading towards the other bomb site. You know, the pros will be more used to it, so it won't be too common that it works in a professional match, but something for you to do at home. You heard the sound there.
Yeah, there's definitely a point when it just becomes so obvious. It's like, ha,
Yeah.
I've fallen for that.
It's that one or the one step you make in a lurker position.
Oh, yeah.
That's, oh, it was an accident. But
That's more
really
effective because you think, oh, man, there must be 4 guys grouped up right here.
Yep.
Who's the idiot that just made a step? But, I mean, the Astralis was already on their way towards lower, and that may have just convinced them for sure. So they like to save those, you know, a couple of deagles, UMP, a scout, sets of armor. So still not in a buy situation here for Astralis, but honestly, coming into Nuke at least, both of these teams extremely comfortable on this map. Astralis almost always picking Nuke, at least in the most recent series. But, you know, kind of as the casters, or sorry, excuse me, the analysts alluded to over on the desk, this last time these two teams met, it was a very one-sided heroic rout. So for Astralis, this is, you expect to see maybe some changes. You expect to see maybe some refined gameplay. Bubsky getting tested here.
Oh,
Blake
what?
gets the first.
Glaive with a scout no-scope at such range. That's not the opening kill you normally see, and this push isn't really going the way Heroic might have liked, and they're not going to be able to get rid of those rifles either. They will be collected at some point, I imagine, by Astralis, if they win this round at least, because we see the rotation is coming in from the ramp. So there's an opportunity for Heroic, but my God, this is a bad situation for them.
Glaive with a shotgun scout.
Interestingly, it doesn't seem to be clear to Astralis where exactly the remainder of Heroic are, as you see Zipex looking towards the B bomb site and Magisk and Secret, but both Heroic players are on the A bomb site. Now, they have to assume that somebody's in heaven, so this becomes a very strange situation where Astralis will probably clear out some map control while Heroic are waiting. Cadian's taking himself a nice angle, but with 40 seconds left, how long can he hold us for? If they play chicken and Astralis don't push first, then Heroic are probably going to lose this round because they'll be contained on the A bomb site. But there is the patience paying off for Cadian. Again, his game sense has just gone through the roof over these years. Great pacing from the team, picking up some utility on the way. Some fishing from Magisk. And whereas the final player now looking to finish him off 15 seconds, and Cadian will deliver. However, we can see there's low HP on both players, and Zipex is creeping in through main, or mini if you're American. This would be quite the hold from Heroic, making it real hard. Oh, Cadian, he hasn't seen him, but the gun was spotted. Oh. That is a fantastic hold from them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so smart from Heroic. You have a man disadvantage, Astralis. You know, inferior weaponry, so you want to take some fights, but can't be too obvious about it. You can't necessarily have the luxury of faking a plant and holding, you know, one angle, because you've got heaven, you've got main, you've got lobby to worry about. Any of those flanks are open to you, and you've only got 2 players to watch these angles. Cadian wisely just biding his time over there in lobby, holding for the inevitable flank. Gets the free one, and then the 2v2 was so much easier to manage at that point. As you know, there's nobody coming from lobby at least. So it's just a matter of isolating both those fights. Heroic take 3. And this will be the first bye here for Astralis. Well, I guess the second round, you know, if you're going to lose a couple logs, we'll call that one as well.
Feels like we've had a lot of rounds already.
Yeah.
We really haven't. The game's barely started. But it doesn't necessarily feel that way. Nice to see Cadian energetic. And again, those rounds are great examples of how, like, the depth of Heroic strategically and working together as well, to be able to just hold the line like that. And against a team like Astralis and catch them out, yeah, they're on the eco and so on, but they've basically outsmarted them in that respect.
I think that's honestly when they're at their strongest is when you see Cadian, and he's a guy that gets highlighted constantly because his rating is high and he is the IGL of the team, you know, juggling multiple roles. He's got an op and handle all the time. But beyond that, I mean, just his confidence in his decision-making is what's so fun to watch come through in those 2vx situations because you know he's sitting there communicating his ass off to his teammates. You know, there's a lot that's going on in those situations and a lot that's left unsaid. And that's where, like, team chemistry and experience with playing with your teammates really starts to shine. And, I mean, these are Astralis players when you're – it's not quite the face-it pug that we were talking about at the beginning of this game. Like, these are world-class opponents. They know the right move. And yet Cadian just so sure of his next step.
He's played the game for this long, right? And if I do a search for Cadian on the Steam market, I only get stickers from one major. So despite how long his career has been, there's so much further to go at this point. It's super awesome. I'm definitely
he's definitely paid his dues, you know?
Yeah. Time. It's awesome. In a weird way, I'm proud of him like I'm his dad or something. It's yeah, I know we're talking all heroic, but it's just like I don't know, I just can't get over his you know, for how many years ago I first met him, from watching him play in our offices and stuff, it's just, it's really awesome. I really hope they do a profile on Cadian for this major.
It was cool for me because, you know, I think one of the last times that I was cast in Counter-Strike, and this is years ago now, he was in ESEA Premier, you know, MDL, kind of like Tier 2 EU scene. And he came over to America, came over to California, and played at I guess MDL Global Challenge and won it. I got to interview him and hand him his trophy, and it was really cool to come back after all this time and see him basically at the top of Counter-Strike. I mean, that is so cool to me that, you know, stay on the grind, man.
Absolutely, he's the Great White Hope. That's what he is, the Great White Hope. He's the GWH. And then there's the man Zipex.
Legend in his own right.
Absolutely. He is he's the man you can all learn from. Watch the demos. I still have I have a Zipex tribute gun. What's it? It's the yellow M4A4.
Buzzkill?
And it's, yeah, I think. And it's called the Clutch Minister. And it has Zipex stickers from different majors on it, and it looks sublime.
Fire,
I must say, it looks sublime. But I want to see more Cadian stickers in the game. I think I have an Oscar sticker on my AWP Lightning at the back, which is actually good because the lightning kind of goes through where his name is, so it's quite nice. But I'm kind of leaning towards putting a Cadian sticker on there as well.
Somewhere. Your skin game is, as the kids might describe it, off the chain. Fire skins, dude. I was going through your inventory when we were playing the other night and was impressed.
I've got rid of a lot of stuff.
Fair.
But there is an aesthetic game going on. CT side is red.
Yeah, and I guess kind of the segue that I was going to lead into there where you flipped off the skins, but some of these pros, man, they need to hire a skin advisor, somebody to fix that. See, that's a beautiful, oh man, look at that.
Marble fade. Yeah. Just clean things up a bit.
Yes.
Well then, let's see what this first buy round is going to look like for both squads. No sniper rifles this time, no scouts, no scopes from Clave, jiggling from Cade, and he's like, whoop, I'm out of there. He loses only 11 HP, lucky to get away with that one. I suppose he was shot through the glass. Again, you can, if you're in the middle of the rafters on A, you can throw a HE into that position. You see it, I'm not sure if you actually see it, that particular one, but you do see grenades fly up there. Anyway, Astralis have the rifles, but they don't have much in the name of utility. At this point in minute 14, they've got one flash and two smokes. Glaive heading forwards now. And speaking of the proactiveness of taking liberties, he's certainly doing that here.
That's a big read right here. Knows that they're not outside, presses the info, and this is the perfect timing to at least let his teammates know that this is not going the way of outside, not towards yard. So upper got to be hitting in a moment here.
Oh! One problem is having no grenades. Bubsky with a multi-frag looking for a third. The push is coming in towards A, and maybe A is the ultimate place now with those frags. Molly towards the high ground. We'll see how close Glaive is on the flank. Zipex, well, there's how close Glaive is. Makes it a 3 versus 2 immediately. He's down. Has an inferior angle to Dupree, leaving Refresh in a 1 versus 3. Trying to isolate the fight. The first one to Zipex, trying to go for the transfer as well. Some damage, but no frags. And indeed, the information was there for Astralis. Despite getting popped on the entry to the site, they managed to turn around.
Yeah, they're able to keep 3 weapons as well. Beautiful round from Astralis. I mean, this starts really with that read from Glaive outside. You know, pressing up towards red box at yard, and Bubsky able to grab 2 on the hold, even deal some damage to the third. Consider, I think it was Magic's getting destroyed on the entry. Yeah, it was a nice two-piece there from him. Makes this retake possible, and it was just a brilliant Glaive coming back through lobby to clean things up. And I think Astralis is going to need that throughout this game. Heroic does like to throw the smokes outside, take control of yard, chill out for a second, re-hit it. And they're very good at manipulating rotations in that way, so as long as Glaive is proactive, able to find the information early, Cadian damage from Glaive at that yard position.
Well, that's a lot of information and a lot of presence, and that's a big name lost in the name of Astralis. Glaive getting dropped. 5 versus 4 situation for Heroic, who still have a boatload of utility. Plenty of Molotovs for an eventual execute, waiting out these smoke grenades at present. Tessus has seen the barrel of Dupree's gun, but Dupree will win the duel with a crouch peek here. Heroic now running down to the B bomb site.
Yeah, it was a big kill, but they're beating the rotations down here, James.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be aware that Bubsky has made his way through. Does he go to the bomb plant? He does. He knows where it is immediately, looking for the trade. There's a minute on the clock here, so there isn't bomb plant pressure just yet. Heroic may need to find a kill or 2 before they try and plant the bomb, and indeed, Astralis continue their proactive play. Refresh looking for a C in the leg, though. Oh my god, that's disgusting from Refresh, but he can't be expecting Dupree. Now, does he play for the bomb plant? You can see he's looking for the multi-frag, but as Refresh turns, he has to take the fight. Didn't particularly want to. Down knows exactly where Magisk is, which leaves Dupree on the site with the bomb. 30 seconds, trying to create some space for himself. Got to avoid the wall bangs as well. We can see Cadian creeping, but as he turns his corner, surely it's advantage Dupree. Maybe not. 4 rounds for Heroic as there's mad blocking on the stairs. That's quite a lot of friction there.
And that was almost a hero hold from Dupree at lower. I'm surprised that he wasn't at least even get a piece of Cadian there as he tucks his leg behind the door and swings the peek out. I didn't realize that kill was due to smoke over at Squeaky, but for Heroic, I mean, that first kill on the Glaive, so important. I mean, everything that I've spoken about concerning their ability to read Heroic's movements outside, it's just a lot more difficult to do when your point man's already down. So, but I mean, this is no easy job for him. It's going to be such a difficult CT side half, especially with the almost lack of help across the board that he doesn't receive, really. As we're starting things out with a nice 1D, though. Okay.
Well, that has escalated very quickly indeed. They can't afford to lose another player. That much is clear for Heroic. Got to be real careful about those tight angles. Talk about them a lot on train. Maybe for the last few times. But we can see it's pistols. There's no Kevlar. There's no utility. So if they can take a site and hold, if they can plant the bomb without losing a player, then I think they win this round. Not going to be the case, apparently. We've got Dupree showing presence in the heaven position. There's no utility left as well. There's no Molotovs to take that angle away.
It's another 2-on-3 and an anti-eco with Cadian and Tessus. This will be so dangerous, but Cadian ever in control, handling this well so far. Magisk will be the first to go up against both these players here, and he will fall.
Another test for Heroic. How do you survive in a poor situation? Interestingly, Astralis have dropped off the heaven area, and I would imagine that Heroic are probably going to go there, but surely not from the ladder. Got the brazen plays continue. You can see the different way people are going up and down the ladder these days. There's the flashbang. Cadian to create some space, and Tessus is there. It looks like they may do it again, Heroic. Zipex may look to hold a rifle now. We shall see what he chooses to do, but I'm loving these tests again to see how strong you are. Can you survive this scenario? Can you survive this scenario? Not many teams can turn these spots around. We've seen so many disaster rounds when the pistols have made things go to shit. But here we are.
Yeah, there's not always like obvious or easy options in these scenarios. Like, of course, us sitting here in spectator with X-Ray on, you know, there's always seemingly, at least from a fan's perspective, a correct move, a perfect play. But you can't know that when you're in game sometimes, and Spec's able to get one on the outset, but Tessus will hang on to the AWP. But, you know, I think what impresses me most about Cadian and Heroic in these situations is really just the decisiveness of it. You know, just the old mantra, any decision is better than no decision. Well, immediately after they get that kill towards Mini onto Magisk, they make their way straight towards Hell to make their way up ladder, and there's no hesitation, there's no second guessing, they just go for it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
AWP persists for Cadian. We've got the Augs out for Astralis. Looking for that early pick. Glaive just moves forward to throw a grenade at the perfect time. Otherwise, he may have been done for. Cost Bubsky a lot of HP to make his way downstairs. Glaive not spraying just yet. If somebody's on top of the main spot there, you will see the shadow. That'll give him a slight warning. Always got to be aware of your own shadow. And indeed, Heroic have taken Secret. 1 minute 20 for them to consider their options now. And for Astralis to react. We can see they've got a heavy focus, Astralis, on this lower area.
Yeah, that's... Refresh is always the first guy down for Heroic towards Secret. They usually just bide their time and hang out and wait a little bit, try and see what the reaction is from Astralis. And 3 players penned up over there. We saw very proactive rotations from Astralis, but it's mind games right here. Whether or not this is actually going to be a lower hit in this upper fake, it's got to sell it now.
$35 seconds. 37 seconds. Easily avoided pop flash. Glaive will leave the door open. He's got a good position to get a multi-frag, but indeed the real push is coming downstairs, and we can see so many Astralis players upstairs. What are they able to do? The bomb carrier has been dropped. That's got to be collected. They've got to commit to a bomb plant soon. There are problems towards the ramp, though. This one's falling to pieces. Glaive and Dupree with a flurry of kills, leaving Stan with not much to do. He was just holding the rotation through Seeker, and he'll be deleted as well. 4 players survive for Astralis. Superior position and winning their duels. Very important for them as they look to build on their CT side.
Yeah, got to build the economy up, got to get some momentum going, and that's a great way to do it. I mean, I like that play from Heroic. You blow open, you know, a hole in the defense, you get a few players down Secret, and Cadian's just holding the rotations of their event, but little does he know there's already 3 Astralis players rotated down towards lower, towards ramp. And so, Magisk, Dupree, Zipex, everybody chiming in to silence the lower push and hold on for another round.
In they go. Bomb plant looks reasonable. Zipex may have a great spray, though. It'll make it difficult for them. Buying time as well for the rotation to come through, but he went a bit too far and exposed himself to 2 players. And that means a rifle's been collected. 4 players alive. This could prove problematic. Astralis will be slowed on the rotation by these Heroic players outside. Should be blown up, though, but Cadian is here as well. I don't know if they saw 2 players there. We'll see if Cadian can activate. Test this up close with that P250. Close to the headshot, not quite, though. And then it remained on Cadian on the way. Don't think anybody's going to be checking their 6 too soon. Don't think they're at risk of losing the round. That smoke could actually help him. Oh my god, if he swings, swing on the bomb diffuser! Oh. Well, looking to save the rifle, fair enough. Would have been interested to see where that one went, but it will be going in the way of Astralis.
Yeah, able to escape with a weapon, gets a few frags out of it. Would have been insane if he's able to get the spray through the smoke. There was, I think, 2 players on top of bomb.
Right.
Imagine suddenly there's only 1 player from Astralis left. Maybe cancel the defuse. That would be quite the fairy tale. Nevertheless, 5-4. Astralis grab another. That's 2 in a row for them, and they're building a bank. And this is the first time, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we've seen Dupree on the AWP, so see whether or not he can make it bark towards yard. Find anything for his team. There's no presence out there as of yet, but from Heroic. This has been a patience game from the get-go, and the outset already Magic's opening things up with 2 big AUG frags towards Squeaky.
Oh.
And smoking himself over at Asian Vent doesn't help things.
That's one to practice. Probably thinking that to himself.
Flip it, practice the lineup at home.
Pop flash into the smoke and a reposition. He's got Bubsky to hold the Pop Dog area, the Squeaky area. Excuse me. And down they go. Refresh dropping a molly behind him. And there'll be no fast chase from Astralis this time, who are in a much better position. A smoke to create some space and offer a bomb plant.
Look at this mid-game. They did this so cleanly. There's almost no damage on these players through the vent. Despite 2 players from Astralis guarding it. Now there's sure to be a brawl here at ramp.
Ooh, just barely alive. Just escaping there and really making up for it now. Suddenly it's a 2 versus 2. 3 alive for the post plant. Makes for a strong situation for Heroic. AWP collected, but Shush has lost his angle now. He was tagged as he was rounding the corner. Smoke to create some space, opting back for the AK once again, and just running distraction, but he doesn't have an angle. Tess says, or maybe he does. That should be enough. Magic's now stuck in no man's land, and he'll be hunted as well as he tries to run away. This is proving to be very expensive for Astralis. I don't think Magic makes it here.
What an absolute collapse. And this is just, how quickly did Heroic make this decision, corral all 3 players that were still alive in lobby, and commit to that play down vent to lower? I mean, there was a 5v3. Heroic had no positional advantage in this map whatsoever. And then, you know, I mean, it starts with these 2 Magis frags, of course. But just a beautiful reaction. I think there's 2 players stacked up towards Squeaky that swing back in. And it's Shush really just getting in the face of the players over towards ramp that stop any kind of early retake from Astralis. And that is just so painful. You had just started to build a bank if you're Astralis, and you almost look like this was a very doable half, maybe a 10-5, maybe a 9-6, and that's not out of the question yet. But, I mean, that was picture perfect out of Heroic. Figured talk things over now, and I mean, we had just seen Dupree get the AWP in his hands, and, well, that's gone now.
So much power in this facility. So they can play CS in the control room. Magisk will opt for the auto shotgun. Not seeing as many shotguns as we used to on Nuke. JW, of course, being the first name that comes to mind. So many classic plays. Maybe we'll see one from Magisk here. 10 for 6 at the moment. We'll need to deliver more. It's down with a nice angle. We saw a forward play from Bubsky there, maybe trying to make up for the shortcomings in their weaponry. But today won't be the day.
Now they know there's no op outside, and they just sprint down secret.
Cadian saying hello. That is a nice AWP, I must admit.
A lot of damage on Heroic right now, though.
Again, they've got that lurker outside to limit the rotation. And if you expect that presence from a CT perspective, even if that guy isn't there sometimes, that can give the T's an extra man on occasion. If you just fear that there will be a lurker there. 54 seconds on the clock. Clave's got somewhere to be. Got an appointment to keep. Bear in mind, Zipex has this. Zipex with a scout? What?
Oh, this timing.
Not very often. Oh, no. Great angles from Dupree. Tessa swinging to his doom, and seems the positioning from Astralis might prevail. Cadian's been firing shots from the secret position. The scope is heard as well, so Astralis have half the information. They know exactly where he is. They may not know he's the bomb carrier, though. But Magisk may soon find out.
Yeah, 20 seconds. Probably going to look to save this, but Magisk may be able to stop him from doing so. Whoa.
Nice.
Okay.
I need to know where his sense is. I might just ask him on Steam after the match.
Maybe there's a post-match interview. We can just holler at me for the settings. But hey, that was a beautiful round from Astralis. They dropped 2 towards lower early on, sensing that outside pressure. Nobody really overcommitted to a fight outside, which is, you know, keeping the numbers advantage in Nuke isn't always the easiest thing, especially if you have Glaive outside battling solo sometimes. But Dupree not even really being suspected by the side of Heroic, so he gets a free one. Doesn't need to overcommit to any fights, and That's something that Heroic really like to do on this map. Take secret control, and then on a timing, basically just back up out of it, hit somewhere else. Pinches through main and hell.
My God. Glaive pretty fast outside. Record time, you might say. There are 4 smoke grenades outside, and Refresh will be lurking around them with a Desert Eagle. Not much to lose. Wants to know how much the CTs know about the situation. Cadian still fishing with the AWP. Sefec's not showing just yet. He's got a soft angle. He'll peek at his own choice.
It's really interesting. Astralis doesn't even seem concerned that there could be players from Heroic potentially down there. Which, I mean, could be just a hard read. Maybe he had a gap in the smoke or something and knew. I don't think so, but...
Down where, sorry?
Down secret, down lower.
Yeah. And
to me, I mean, that's just... I mean, Astralis isn't winning right now. But they're doing all the right things in terms of the reads on CT side. Whoa, Magisk almost getting the better end of Shush. Not to fall off of top hut, though. Not quite an upper commit yet. 48 seconds left on the clock.
Dupree with the scout now. Sepex has rotated his position, sees upstairs, but again, be careful about the fight he takes, but Kane will patiently wait as his players move in. Magisk with 2, is that going to be enough? 3v3, awkward now for the player on the side. Help is on the way, though. Dupree trying to make a connection, and he really could have an impact here. Cadian still holding the top. You can see they're both ducking and diving and trying to avoid those shots. Refresh has a molly. I'm not sure if he's got an angle to fire at the swing. Cadian whiffing now with the Goog near. 1 versus 3. Maybe time to fall back once again. Already being looked for by Bubsky. And they'll finally get an upgrade for the scout, Astralis.
Nice hold. Starts with Magisk, I guess. Was top hut getting 2. Bubsky doing a really good job just staying alive there behind Silo. I mean, that's a really scary position. You know, if Cadian's able to deny those heaven rotations consistently, I mean, there's just nothing that Astralis can do to get back in that round. Instead, misses 1 or 2 of those shots, and that's all it really takes. Astralis tying things back up at 6. And more importantly, perhaps, this is going to be mostly a full save out of Heroic. You're going to see a P250 at most. And, I mean, that's just the efforts that Astralis has had to go to finally break the bank of Heroic and maybe build some of their own.
A shot to the chest versus a player with no Kevlar. With a scout, will be fatal. AWP even more so. Wow, that was some air strafing.
Oh man.
I can't do that. I don't know what kind of sense. He must be smashing his mouse all over his mouse pad. Okay, we got 2 kills for Heroic, and Down has got a bomb. He has been seen falling back.
We got to get you into Coach Lau's movement camp.
As long as I can use the space bar to jump.
You cannot. That is not what you should be using to jump.
We cannot be friends anymore.
Hey, it's okay.
Spacebar master race.
Talking about Quake, I'm spacebar all day. This game, oof. Inferior movement. 7-6, Astralis first time in this game taking the lead. And honestly, I mean, put my analyst hat on for a second. This has been a very impressive showing from Astralis in my eyes. I mean, strategically speaking, they are making all the right moves, and Heroic getting the better of them on some key rounds, breaking the bank of Astralis a couple times in the half. Has netted them 6. But 1 step ahead, Astralis, a lot of this comes off the back of Dupree and Glaive outside and what they've been able to do in terms of getting early information on Heroic. And here it is, we see it again.
I love this CT aggression. This is where I normally play outside from.
Yeah.
Red.
It's a brave spot.
Lovely shot from Dupree. Now, what kind of support does he have to escape this position? Should he want to? Maybe he'll just stay here now. He's dropped the bomb. He'll go back for a 3rd one. There it is. Test me, Dupree says. He's looking for more. Now he knows only 1 player can really be challenging him outside because Down's getting kills elsewhere. Open scene, Refresh, and there's his 4th one. Down in the lobby will be deleted by Bubsky. Beautiful confidence from Dupree. We still have snipers for Astralis.
Oh, yeah. And I think the 1 round that we really got, you know, the potential showdown outside was there. Heroic didn't need to deal with it at all. So finally, Dupree making it work outside, picking up 4 on the round. Well done to him. 8-6. Astralis in the lead. And Heroic for the final round of this half is going to be limited to just Deagles, Tech 9s, and a Mac 10 on down. Might just be a fast upper play here, James. Oh man, this is so close. And that's a wall bang, so he's got to know that there was another body in front of him.
He does indeed, and this is going to be absolutely messy now as Heroic try to engage Chaos with the numbers, but some of them are outside, some of them are downstairs. Shush looks to go and plant the bomb on the B bomb site. There's rotation already. Needs to commit to that now.
He has no help as of yet.
I like how he stepped back to plant the bomb, and I wonder if it's in case of the potential wall bang from the A bomb site with an AWP. Not going to happen today though, as Squeaky is cleared. I don't know how much more there is in this final round for Heroic. We've got a flank now, and maybe there's a rifle to be collected by one of these players. Shush and refresh. Now it's down to refresh. Well, it looks like there'll be 9 rounds on the CT side of Nuke from Astralis, and that's not too shabby. I think it's pretty good, all things considering, especially versus Heroic. Who takes the second pistol? Find out after the break.
Astralis.
Collide with.
Heroic.
Heroic. You are watching Flashpoint 3.
And we're back in black, back on the attack. It's time for Astralis to attack, actually, as the T's had a late string of rounds in the first half, and that gives them a 3-round lead at half-time. They move to the T side now with Glocks and Molotov, smokes, flash, high explosive grenade, and bad intentions. Let's see what they have to offer. The likes of Heroic, who have a lot of players towards the ramp position, it looks like. But Astralis are headed outside. I never did get to mention the Super Mario Brothers thing when Kaden went through double doors, bouncing backwards, trying to avoid getting headshot. Pulled the crosshairs away from his team to allow him to spread into the bomb site. Something you see in tight choke points like on B, does too. Now it's Astralis' turn to go in towards B. We can see Heroic are all over the shop. As you might say in the UK, there's Magis jumping out immediately. Opening kill for Astralis now. Dancing around the smoke grenade. 4 versus 2. Close to 1. Shush 11 HP. That might be enough. They have a kit. And it seems they want to seize the opportunity for a frag here. That'll cost Dupree, though. I respect the play. Well, they know where both players are now. They've spotted Cadian and Shush. I think they know that Shush's headshot, but it just gets worse for them. Suddenly we've got a 2v2 situation, and Shush is rotating away to reset elsewhere. The jumping continues, but Cadian's ready for it. Shush has the kit. I imagine he'll join Cadian, stay close, so that kit can come into play, and Glaver's wondering where this pistol round has gone. 30 HP and a decoy. Could use it as a fake flash. We'll see what he chooses to do. The footsteps start to be heard now. Smoke on the bomb, and Shush heads to defuse it again. He has the kit, and Cadian has the angle if he can find Glaver. How about that then? A 2 versus 4 turnaround from Heroic in the CT pistol.
I'm not quite sure why they were delaying the plant. Maybe they thought, you know, Shush may have been way closer at ramp, and they thought they could, you know, one dinked player, low HP, just push him and run him down. That was Dupree on his lonesome, attempting to do so, and dies. And that was really just the start, the first domino to fall. And a beautiful 2v4 from Heroic. Not the first time we've seen rounds like that play out, especially when Cadian's alive. It's just like, always has mastery and control over the round. And Astralis forcing back into this, has an AK, Galil, Deagles, and a Scout.
I love the play to target to target Shush on ramp, knowing he was headshot, but walking into the angle wasn't the one. And now Heroic have a great chance at a great start on the CT side. So we've got the AK on Dupree and a Galil for Bubsky. 4 of the 5 players with helmets for Astralis. Glaive the exception with the Scouts. And it seems they'll take their time, because he's down looking for information on Secret. The stairs used to be behind the garage, believe it or not. And in they go. Big number of players coming his way. Only good for 1, though. That might not be enough as a rifle is collected by Astralis. Zipex sees a rotation as he stands in Squeaky, engaging with Shush. It's quite an aggressive flashbang, and in fact, seems the rotation will head in towards the A-bomb site, but there are still 2 players here for Heroic. Perhaps there's 1 now, as Shush is dropped and Cadian's in trouble, down to 6 HP, and there's a swing. This is turning into a disaster for Heroic. Refresh now, could turn things around, but Zipex just charging him with the Desert Eagle. Lands the shots around the corner of the smoke. Tessus now with 8 HP. This is absolute madness.
Yeah, he's going to get the plant for free at least. Tessus looking to challenge early on. Got to get a little bit of ground here if possible. But Zipex just so keen on it. Knows that he's going to be creeping out towards ramp. Tessus falls immediately with a beautiful 1D from range.
Well, all is fair, I suppose, because both teams have now been reset after winning their CT pistol. Nice headshot from Zipex there, making it look easy. Very chaotic round, which favours the team on a force buy, of course. Seeing so many force buys won these days, I feel like. So many resets.
Especially here at Flashpoint, I would love to see the stats at some point on collectively across all the matches, how many teams are getting reset on these maps, and I feel like it's got to be over 50% in my mind, at least, how often I remember it.
The pilgrimage.
Walkabout down Secret. Heroic doesn't seem aware of it yet. Of course, this is another force out of them. You get a light armor on 4 and a Scout on Cadian, but not much else in the way of grenades. Just Tessus down here at lower.
Using the numbers again. Anti-eco position for Zipex again. In trouble, can just fall back. And you have some information as well. He may not be able to stop the rotation there, but he'll go for his gun. That's a nice pickup for Heroic. Cadian fishing for something. Side plant bomb in the smoke. Now let's see what Heroic choose to do with the AK-47 in hand. 2 of the 3 players with Kevlar. Uh-oh, Dupree has taken a real close bullet. That one looked on as well, but I suppose it went into the ramp. 9 HP for Dupree. No kit for these Heroic players, and that may be the saving grace for Astralis at this point, as they look to head towards an 11th round. A blood-stained control room. Abandoned by Astralis as they make their way out. Stan looking to collect a little something. But he will be denied. How do you think Astralis are looking today?
I think they're looking really good. And obviously, I talked a little bit about it in the first half. I mean, their reads, they seem to be very awake. The comms are on point. And they're in control a lot of these rounds. But I think individually as well, we're seeing solid performances out of all of these players. Zipex basically got untested the entire first half at ramp. So despite the fact that he's quote-unquote bottom fragging, you know, he's already found some really big impact in this second half. Forcing that force by winning the 1v2. It's a hell of a way to kick things off. And now Heroic, considering you're down 4 rounds, Astralis already on 11. It's tough to call another save here. I mean, you have to, of course, but this will be a very uphill battle for Heroic if they don't get some economy going early.
I was going to say this could be trouble, but there's too much EXP on Astralis. Jumping UMP in the hands of Zipex looks for the boost.
Sniffs out the ramp stack instantly.
That will be quite handy indeed. Now Refreshed will look to hold on to this AK Asimov. Not as special as the M4 and AWP, I would say, not just yet. The AK Asimov.
I just picked one up the other day.
An AK Asimov?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's between that and the fuel injector for my personal fave.
Oh, the fuel injector is beautiful. I had one of those with some driver gloves, the Overtake, the yellow ones, whatever they're called. That was very nice. I had QB Fire stickers on them before controversy from that all came out. They looked quite good. With a flammable sticker on the end of it. You have to have the flammable sticker on the end of it, the front of it.
The fuel injector?
Yeah, it looks nuts. Very nice one. So I'm using a Pantera Onka at present.
Fancy.
Very much enjoying. Well done, we have a mixed bag from Heroic. The FAMAS is out and they are live on utilities. Zipex trying to make its way in, but he got caught in traffic. It looks like 5 versus 3 for Heroic. A great start for them.
That was a teammate's Molotov too. That is so unlucky. But Tessus over here towards ramp will be the next thing to talk about. 3 players waiting the smoke out. He finds that first.
That's the angle. That is quite the trade from Bubsky.
Yeah.
So necessary as well in such a horrible situation for Astralis at this point. Glaive carrying the bomb on the outside. Big risks taken. Pulls out a grenade. Double peek from Heroic. And that should shut down the round. But Bubsky may have something to say about this. Coming in from the ramp now. 20 for 10 is Bubsky. Always top fragging for Astralis, I feel like. He's always at the top of the scoreboard. The babyface Bubsky. 1 versus 3. He is the proof that there are no ugly people in Denmark. But can he make this round ugly for Heroic? He has 40 seconds to do it. Oh, just as he turns away. That's unfortunate timing for him. I want to see something nice. Well, it's nice for Heroic at least. It's their second round now in this second half.
Yeah, it's a big win for them. You limit the economy of Astralis and put them back into a tenuous economic situation. And really that start for them towards Squeaky, man. I mean, Zipnix was pushed out of Squeak, hanging out, had a sweet angle towards Mini Garage, towards main. But I mean, he was basically getting forced out. I think he took almost 80 damage or so from... Okay, fast upper play again. They're going to test Squeaky.
Yep, through the flame, Bubsky goes looking for the targets, finds 2 of them, but can't find a fatal connection. Molotov still causing problems, forcing them to fall off the hut, Heroic. But the kills are going their way once again, starting to charge up on their CT side now as they're trying to make their way down to the B bomb site. Glaive's got to find a place to plant a bomb, but he might look for a kill first because 2 versus 5 plants that bomb. Surely he gets clowned on by Heroic. Dupree turning things around now. Bomb planted and Glaive is alone. 1 versus 3. Has Dupree done enough? Trying to reset the situation. They got 3 kills out of that. Quite impressive. They were up against it, so the output's quite heavy from the remainder of Astralis, but it will be another round for Heroic.
Yeah, and for Heroic, that was a very well-handled squeaky push again. They've seen it twice now. And I'm starting to understand why. Okay, so my team throws on a fast play like this. We throw that Molotov, the fast molly. You get up T-side ladder. You basically throw the molly through the window right away with a jump throw. And it lands on the right side of hut, and clearly that fire is bleeding into your pathway as a terrorist coming out of squeaky door. trying to face Mini, you don't have a lot of room with that fire that's bleeding over the edge. And now I understand why it sucks. It's twice now that really uncomfortable gunfights looks like for Astralis. They're going to do it one more time, and it's Glaive this time, first to go through.
Ooh,
does he make it?
The HE slowing him down causes such a problem. Leaves him with 8 HP, but indeed he has created presence for his squad, trying to harass the B bomb site now. Zipex has been lost and looks the wrong way, baited by Stown. Tessus gets the kill. Bubsky now has a chance with a rare CZ. Don't see too many of those these days.
Upper's empty. This is a free bomb site.
Do they realize though? Sure, she's on the high ground. Stown now holding angles by T-Vent. He hears the sound cues. Does he dare flank them? Oh my god, Magic, what on earth was that? Trying to find an angle to plant the bomb, and Stown has a decision to make. He's the only man with a flashbang. Forces his way out. There's such an awkward angle from up top. And the wheels are turning in favor of Heroic once again. Good effort with the Deagles. Astralis keep doing the damage where if they do win a round late, they could break Heroic and have a run to win the map. So these rounds are still dangerous, even if Heroic are winning them.
Yeah, that's the silver lining. Because, I mean, honestly, we haven't really seen anything in Astralis in these last 2 rounds where, you know, they're attempting these fast plays. And sometimes, you know, these rounds can just come down to a coin flip. If you flash the right player at the right time, you can get the trade out. But they've got no such fortune as of yet. Heroic doing a good job of shutting it down. And as these rounds build up, so would the bank of Heroic. But as you mentioned, I mean, just doing the damage, getting a few frags, getting a bomb plant, staying competitive in this half is Astralis, and that's step 1 to taking this first map against Heroic. And now we get a more standard-looking Nuke T side where spreading the map, dropping the smokes. Oh, I think that smoke just bounced past that molly.
You hate to see it if you're Astralis. There's another exchange as well to delay things yet further. Completely thwarted, but they've got numbers towards the ramp here. We've got incendiaries being dropped everywhere. Tessus deletes as well with the Org and holds the position. So that's plan A and plan B failed for Astralis. Do they have a plan C, 3 versus 5? Well, maybe it's time for plan D with that headshot.
How many plans do we have out here, man?
I mean, it's Astralis. If they've got an alphabet of plans, it is going to be Astralis. But we may be running out of letters here because Glaive finds himself alone without the bomb now. Not sure there's a plan for that.
Yeah, I think the reaction was okay to go ahead and move towards ramp. You know Tessus is there, and he has been the hot hand of Heroic throughout Flashpoint 3, and especially in the last few times that we've seen this team play. Nuke especially just seems to be his playground, and it's a tough decision to make. You know somebody's playing there, probably with an AUG. A few different times in this half we've seen him just mow down the side of Astralis. But really, this round was just 2 well-timed, I guess, Molotovs. And I'm sure he had a read, but really uncomfortable to fight when you're separating, disrupting so much of the Astralis push. And if you're missing that gunfight, if you're not able to get a trade out, well, you end up in a 5v1. Glaive, 14 seconds. Dropped by Refresh, and 12-11 Heroic inching back into this game round by round in Astralis. I mean, you mentioned their alphabet playbooks. Surely they've got something left for us, but it is looking a little bit less good for Astralis with every round that passes. Wow.
Tessus has been an animal for Heroic of late. An absolute animal. In this tournament, he has been a key player. Had some outrageous performances to put them in winning positions. And they're in one now, in the short term at the very least, as Astralis are on the pistols. But again, we have seen so many Desert Eagle kills already in this series that we may be heading towards more here in round 24. Oh my god.
Goodbye.
Oh man. That even hurts me. I'm not the one playing. Well, that AWP won't be retrieved too soon. Now, we see Refresh has a HE grenade. Sometimes you can use a HE grenade to just send a gun far away from a team who might try to collect it otherwise. You can see Refresh popping out through the smoke, taking matters into his own hands, and the lurker is eliminated. Astralis may have to run quickly. That bomb's been spotted. Shush immediately looking towards the hut. There's an easy one on Dupree. They may survive with the numbers here, Heroic. Shush changing his position a little bit, making it hard for Zipex. And now only Magisk remains. 4 players alive would be fantastic for Heroic. Again, let's not forget the war of attrition. They've been grinded down round by round. Even in the rounds where Heroic have won, there's often been 2 people alive. So it's important they have 4 there.
Yeah, big bank. Got 10K on Cadian and several other players sitting over 5. So we've got buy rounds on buy rounds ahead of us for Heroic. And it's Astralis now. They're strapped for cash. 12 all. Round 25 set to ensue. And we've seen some fast upper plays out of Astralis. One time they've tested outside to some degree. But even then it was stunted with missed smoke. So now may get to see a another situation where you set this second tier smokes, right? You got second layer getting deployed. And there's no more Molotovs for the side of Astralis, or Heroic rather, to deal with that.
Ooh.
Look at this push.
Uh-oh. Okay, bombs going outside. Refreshes here as well. This is so much information, but what will the rotation look like? The lobby is clear. You have to expect somebody in the anti-eco position. Actually going to smoke him off, but that's got to speed things up elsewhere. But the problem is Astralis don't know what they're running into. They know that lobby's been compromised, but what lies around these corners? They don't know that there are 3 or 4 people upstairs. So they have to be real careful. How do you make a play from here? Do we try and go for that plan C and head towards the A bomb site or something? We'll find out. They've got 45 seconds to decide on what the best play is now. Maybe expecting a rotation. A bomb's been spotted. Immediately heading in towards main. Very awkward spot. Magisk avoids the flashbang. Many wheels at play here, but some of these cogs are going to start breaking. But for which team? 30 seconds on the clock. 5v5 remains. We've got us down in CT spawn, playing the most awkward angle possible. And Glaive can't just be entertained by this with 20 seconds on the clock. They've got to push a bomb site. If they go towards heaven, then Down has angles. So what do Astralis do? This is going from bad to worse. We're talking about a plan F at this point. Cadian now posted up on the B bomb site. Heroic with great position. Tess's running distraction. Bombs on the floor. Has to be connected again. 8 seconds to plant this bomb. Trying to cut these numbers out now. Bombs being planted left side. There it goes. That's the kill they needed. Heroic with position, with information. Astralis really... Oh my God!
Refresh with the icing on top, finding a headshot, 1 tap at the end of the round.
Look at the hype from the team as well. They're loving it. That was a great round for Heroic.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, Cadian whiffing a couple there, but hits the one that counts. Stops the bomb plant from going down. 13-12 Astralis. I mean, this is man, you got full loss bonus at least going in your favor, but nothing really has worked. I mean, you did get lower bomb site control to some degree, but it was not clean, and certainly it was not good enough to win the round. So,
look, man, that kill from Refresh at the end was ruthless.
Destroyed.
That was a ruthless frag. And this has caused big problems for Astralis. They really need a bomb plant. As well as rounds and other things, they need to plant a bomb. They need that bonus money. They are broke of focus at present. Well, that's a good way to start as they try to turn things back into their favor, Astralis. Money's being built on Heroic now, and Tesses holds the ramp again.
He just does not give this up without taking down 2. Every time, and Shush hot on the flank through Trophy Room. He's just going to farm this, and it's already over, 14-12. Heroic dominating their CT side. Yeah,
it may already be over. And again, they need a bomb plant. If they plant the bomb in around Astralis, they get 4,200 if they lose. No bomb plant means they've got 3,500 for the most part, which puts their money in an awkward situation.
Glaive even had the opener over at Redbox, and you know, you think at that point, finally Astralis get the man advantage. You know, they've got the initiative outside, they've got yard control, and yet Heroic just every step of the way reading what Astralis is doing and reacting to it appropriately. As I say, that early outside pressure coming in from Astralis. 2 players down secret.
And there goes the bomb as well. But they've given the sound cues and they will turn things around. But there's a player engaged, and I think Heroic here that these steps stop short. I think they realize, I don't know where Zipex's kill came from there, dead now of course. We've got risk being taken. I can see Bubsky making his way into the A bomb site, but Stown is ready for all these angles. Having a quick look, he's seen Dupree by Secret as well and delivers one more. And Magic is left standing, wondering what could have been next to a rain pipe. Just watching the game slip away from his team. 1 versus 4. And Stown is almost ready for another one. Well, a Mag-10's been collected. Maybe he can clutch with that. Keeps the Desert Eagle out. Patient play with the Desert Eagle, but leaves TeSeS with 4 HP. And Heroic move to game points.
Yeah, this has just been rough for Astralis and their T side. I spoke a lot about how on point and in control they were with their rotations on the defensive side of things, but flip it on over to T side, and this has been all Heroic, making it look like the CT-sided map it once was. In a big way. I mean, they yielded those 3 after getting reset, but really just a clean half so far for Heroic.
Again, Heroic taking respect by force. Got themselves into a position where they are way more than a farm team. One of the strongest teams in the world at present. And they'll give you no respect whatsoever. You'll have to earn it, and that proves very difficult versus Heroic. Astralis with limited utility, but they've got the guns out. This time they move quietly towards Secret. Again, they tried to fake sound last time. Running down Secret, abruptly stopping. Heroic seemed to realize that immediately, but now things are somewhat different. Showing presence down towards the double doors. The wine bottles will fly. I'll go for this boost towards Decon once again. Decon for contamination. And they continue. You can see Cadian creeping down now. TeSeS is in a spot where it could be wallbanged from Decon. We've seen that before. Double door's not open, so Cadian could post up towards control. He's chosen not to for now. You can see he's holding down 2 jobs, looking towards ramp. 30 seconds, and he is going to be pinched at some point. The grenades start to stream. They're going for a bomb plant straight away. As TeSeS got the spread, Cadian has through the smoke, and here's the flank. He's ready for it as well. There's one more on the way, and he seems to realize it. The jiggle, Cadian at maximum strength. Magic with 14 seconds, 1 versus 5, and he'll be given absolutely nothing by Heroic. Yet another strong performance on Nuke from Heroic.
Wow.
He's ready for that one. That man knows how good he is at this game.
He almost aces in the final round of the game, too. Incredible stuff from Heroic and Cadian.
His spatial awareness is absolutely off the charts. And that's just the first game of this series. There's plenty more carnage to come after the break. We'll see you soon.